LA This Week.
I'm Anna Margos. An update on the fight against sex trafficking in the Valley coming up.
The results of a deadly crash here in the San Fernando Valley, and police say the driver was drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana. I'm Gil Reyes with more about the dangers from LAPD officers soon after the legalization of marijuana sales in California.
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, a full day of discussion on two hot topics, technology and democracy.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. The Valley's Human Trafficking Task Force has good news as it reveals the latest numbers in its fight against sex trafficking. Anna Marcos has the story.
What a difference 2 years makes in the neighborhood. Sex traffickers and pimps are on the run in the Valley as police and city leaders continue their attack through the Human Trafficking Task Force. The latest arrest numbers by the task force are encouraging.
Not only do we arrest and prosecute people who are committing this crime, but it also has an impact on the quality of life for a lot of these people who live here. Nobody wants to wake up in the morning and have to step on a used condom when they're putting their kid in the car.
Last year alone, city leaders say the task force made more than 750 arrests, and they've put 63 of their biggest targets behind bars, the pimps and sex traffickers. They've rescued 12 women from a life of sex trafficking just in the Sepulveda corridor, 10 of them minors as young as 14.
Also, the approaches that we're taking to combating human trafficking go beyond the traditional arrest and prosecution on the street.
A new diversion program for the Johns who pick up prostitutes teaches them how their crime affects their victims and community. And best of all, the prostitutes themselves are now thought of as victims instead of criminals. Hundreds throughout LA have been pulled out of the life and into diversion programs.
A 14-year-old doesn't want to stand on the corner of Vose and Sepulveda Boulevard at 2 in the morning because she wants to. She's being forced to do it.
Police say the motel behind me has become a hotbed of sex trafficking and prostitution in this part of the valley, and it's also become a target in this new approach the task force is using.
Our office focuses, among other places, on motels that are the epicenters of prostitution, human trafficking, and other related issues.
We had an undercover officer who was approached by gang members, tried to run him over with a car. The same vehicle, a suspect got out of the car and pulled out a rifle, barricaded himself in the facility behind us.
So there is still plenty of work to do. Councilmember Nuri Martinez has continued to push for the $1 million a year needed to keep the task force going.
I am very glad. I really appreciate it. I told them thank you for taking care of the community.
Most residents here can only hope the funds keep coming. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
If you need to report a case of sex or human trafficking, call 888-373-7888. LA City's feud with the Trump administration may center on immigration, but LGBTQ rights are also a sticking point. As Gil Reyes reports, panelists discuss the obstacles faced during President Trump's first year and how local governments plan to overcome.
Year one of the Trump administration has reversed course on a number of federal LGBTQ protections. For example, the Obama-era designation prohibiting work discrimination based on gender identity.
The Trump administration has overturned that position and, in fact, has decided on its own initiative to weigh in court cases to say, never mind, the laws do not protect the LGBT community.
Jocelyn Samuels, former director of the Federal Office for Civil Rights, is among the panelists at this forum at City Hall, focusing on Trump's first year. The panel, hosted by the LGBTQ City Attorney Employees Association and City Attorney Mike Feuer.
An array of issues that are both important nationally and here in Los Angeles when it comes to protecting and respecting the rights of all of us.
LA City, other local governments, and LGBTQ supporters like law firm Lambda Legal are taking the fight to court.
Lambda Legal had a Seventh Circuit victory that did affirm that sexual orientation and gender identity are protected under federal Title VII law. We have pending cases still in New York and Georgia, Second Circuit, Fourth Circuit, Eighth Circuit. Our sister organizations have cases across the country.
State Senator Ricardo Lara says inviting immigrant communities and civil rights groups to join their cause makes them stronger.
And this is why our LGBT community has been so successful in protecting our rights, because we've allowed and invited other people that are not from our community.
When we did Resist March, we said when they come for one of us, they come for all of us, and we can't forget that.
Despite obstacles, the march forward continues. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
In its first year, the Trump administration has also erased LGBTQ content on federal websites, dismantled the HIV/AIDS Council, and has also recommended banning trans people from serving in the military. A trio of trucking companies is accused of cheating drivers out of wages. And now city leaders say it's payback time. As Gil Reyes reports, the LA City Attorney's Office is suing on behalf of hundreds of drivers.
This abuse, this disgraceful exploitation has to stop.
LA City Attorney Mike Feuer targets 3 trucking companies operating at the Port of Los Angeles. They're accused of misclassifying drivers as independent contractors when they should be considered employees and need to be paid as such with benefits for the long hours they put in. The suit also says the drivers are chained to unfair lease agreements to eventually own their trucks, but instead end up drowning in debt. And if they're fired or quit, too bad. Companies keep the trucks.
Drivers lose all they've paid toward these leases in the event that these drivers are terminated or try to leave on their own. It's wrong, and we aim to put a stop to it.
The companies are CMI Transportation, K&R Transportation California, and Cal Cartage Transportation Express. All 3 are owned by NFI Industries out of New Jersey. No comment yet from these groups. At the Port of Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
No dollar amount given, but the city attorney's office is seeking restitution, penalties, and an injunction to stop the alleged practices. And more trucking companies operating at the port could be targeted by the city attorney's office. Well, turning now to technology, and we all know staying on the cutting edge does pose some challenges and questions. For one, how do we make democracy work in the digital age? Raja Goel has more on how the city is trying to get answers.
Yana, the one thing we all have in common is the use of technology in our lives. I'm at a conference where people from the public and private sector have gathered to discuss technology and democracy and what it means today and for our future. The Technology Democracy Conference, a day-long event, was recently held in downtown Los Angeles.
We've taken the moment to really take a look at how technology is reshaping our relationship with our democracy, and with a regional lens to see all of the work that's being done here locally, both in the public sector, in the city and the county, as well as the work that's being done in the private sector.
The conference helped explore how to navigate the growing number of sources while ensuring reliability.
I mean, we have a president who relies on a Twitter account in a way that we've never really seen before. So how do we ensure that the information that we're consuming, that is being put out into the ether, is accurate, is complete, and enhances a democratic process?
Panel discussions included media and technology, elections, civic tech, and virtual reality.
It's absolutely vital because what we have to do is to create transparency in local government, we have to create trust, and we have to create transformation. Technology, which is what this conference is about, has the incredible ability to take things that we've been doing for years and years and to change how we do it in a better way, to do it in a more efficient way, a more accountable way, hopefully a more cost-effective way.
Over 300 attendees were expected throughout the day.
I'm a data scientist, and I wanted to see what people are doing in the government tech sector. And LA is filled with a lot of interesting projects.
This is a chance to connect with a bunch of other people in Southern California to talk about what we're going to be facing.
And the one word that was mentioned many times, accountability. Just the beginning of many conversations as we continue to expand in the digital age. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The event was hosted by the nonprofit Coro Southern California, the Secretary of State's office, the LA City Controller, and Nation Builder. Pot is now legal in California, but not if you're driving. The LAPD wants to make that clear with some jolting reminders of the consequences. Gil Reyes has more from Valley Traffic Division in Panorama City. Gil.
Yes, Yana, just take a look at the example right behind me. With the sales of recreational marijuana now legal across California, the LAPD wants to send a message not only on the dangers of drinking and driving, but also the dangers of driving while high. And these messages are particularly targeted towards young people. The LAPD hopes this is a sobering reminder of what can happen when you mix alcohol and pot while driving. Police say the driver of this car was killed in a crash on Sherman Way late last year.
Somebody who's driving impaired is going to lose their concentration, their coordination.
Detective William Bustos warning drivers on National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. The warning comes on the first month of legal marijuana sales in California. Now, it's too early to tell if legalizing cannabis will increase vehicle accidents locally, but we can show statistics from other parts of the country. Colorado, Oregon, and Washington State all legalized pot for recreational use a few years back. In comparison to neighboring states where pot is not legal, accident claims increased 14% in Colorado, 6% in Washington State, and also jumped 4% in Oregon. That's according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety.
It's more prevalent now, especially with certain things like you can just call and get these drugs and that.
16-year-old Jasmine Walker, a recovering addict, warns young people of the consequences. LAPD officials say they arrest 870 young adults for impaired driving every year.
We're not only checking for alcohol, we're also checking for drugs. Anybody who is impaired is going to be stopped, they're going to be detained, and if they're under the influence, they will be arrested.
In Panorama City, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
And if you do survive, the total cost of the first DUI conviction can run upwards of $15,000. A big rehab project for the Coliseum as it undergoes a renovation. Ana Marcos has more on the historic building and its new face.
For nearly a century, the USC Coliseum has hosted some of LA's most mega events.
No other location in the world has hosted 3 U.S. presidents, 2 Super Bowls, and a World Series.
It holds memories and experience for all of us.
And now, part of the iconic building is about to go through a major facelift. The $270 million renovation will actually shrink the number of seats from 94,000 to 77,000, with the construction of luxury boxes and club suites.
It will further the transformation taking place right here in this community while bringing thousands of jobs.
And it gives me great pride to know that this landmark, built in 1923, is going to bring even more history and more pride.
And one more change is in the works in the name of one of the sponsors.
This new era for the Coliseum that will begin under a new name, United Airlines Memorial Coliseum.
And of course, the soon-to-be renovated landmark will have another claim to fame in 2028 when it hosts the Olympics. I'm Ana Marcos for LA This Week.
Well, preparing for emergencies like earthquakes can be a tedious, daunting task. So why not get friends together to lighten the load? Well, Gil Reyes reports on some Hollywood talents who are coming together to make emergency preparedness fun.
And we'll stand over here, like, wow, look at all that stuff.
Right, exactly. For these funny ladies, this is serious business, organizing emergency supplies in the event of an earthquake. This group preparation is led by actress and voiceover artist Karen Huey.
I emailed friends, probably about a dozen people,
And I said, I haven't put together my emergency kit. Does anybody want to get together and do this? My thinking was to have my friends help motivate me to do it.
Karen and her friends all live near each other, a group of talented, mostly Asian American actresses that you may recognize from stage and screen, oftentimes in comedy roles.
So we don't always see each other socially outside of our work, but we all care about each other.
When you're by yourself and you're thinking about things like earthquakes, you're not inclined to be funny. But when you get a group of people together, everybody started making doomsday jokes, and it made it so much easier to deal with.
They turned what could have been a daunting task into laugh-out-loud luncheons and made purchases in bulk using Wirecutter. That's a New York Times blog that tests and recommends all sorts of items and also shows the most inexpensive places to buy them. The 7-gallon Aquatainer, for example, just $15 on Amazon.
And then we would decide what we wanted to order. And so we put a check, and then we'd tally up, we need to get 5 gas cans, and then who had ordered that.
Everyone bought the essentials, of course. First aid kits, also food and water to last at least a week. But they also customized their kits. Actress and playwright Jeannie Sakata spends a lot of time on the road. So she added a multi-purpose flashlight for her car in case she gets stuck inside.
This is something that can break through car windows to get someone out, or in case you have to get out of your car. It also has a blade right here for cutting your seatbelt.
Actress Frida Fo Shen wanted to make her emergency lanterns to look as camera-ready as she is.
It's very bright, and it's this ugly, blue-white color. So instead, you add theater gels, for lighting gels, and you create, I know, this is an infomercial. It's really a great device. You create this gorgeous thing.
An atmosphere.
That makes your complexion
and it
look
looks good.
Beautiful.
Friends can also test and practice using items together. Amy Hill recently bought a solar charger that appeared to be defective.
It doesn't do anything. And I thought, well, it's broken, so I sent it back. She got the same one, and she plugs it in at the same time it's in the sun. I hadn't even considered that as a possibility. So I went, oh, that's how you use it. So now I got to order it again because I'm an idiot.
Duct tape. Duct tape. We know that from theater. Yeah. Purell.
Yes.
Yeah. Great buying in bulk. Yes. This is one of those items. I think they came like 12, and we just split it up among us.
Aquamira water purifier account. So if you've stored your water for a while, but you want to make sure that it's okay to drink, you drop one of these in.
You can view all the recommended items at thewirecutter.com.
And another benefit to making purchases with a group of friends, neighbors, basically a community, is that you can make purchases a lot cheaper than if you were to buy them by yourself.
The city's emergency management department supports these community efforts.
The power of neighbors coming together, helping neighbors. It's really important because during a disaster, a major disaster, chances are your neighbors will be your first responders.
And could also provide comic relief while preparing for the worst. I'm Gil Reyes.
The women say it only took a few lunches to organize and place their orders, and as you can tell, they had a really fun time doing it. Loyal Dodgers fans hit a home run when they got a chance to hang around their favorite players. Rasha Goel has more on the one-day celebration that put smiles on a lot of kids' faces.
Not hundreds, but thousands of Dodgers fans showed up to the 6th off-season Fan Fest at Dodger Stadium, a kickoff for the official 2018 Dodgers baseball season.
We've got a lot of interactive games for the kids. We have player and personality interviews, face painters, music, DJ. There's also special ticket opportunities.
And it looks like waiting in lines wasn't a problem. It was a free and family-friendly event.
We come here every year. It draws a lot of fans, and it
It really shows that the Dodgers really care about their fans.
And they do care. For Dodgers pitcher Kenley Jansen, an event like this one means a lot.
Just see our fans and see how close it is a motivation for me to get ready for another season.
I feel like it's such a long off season. It's a way to connect like halfway through the months, even though that Dodger season's going to start in about 2 months, 3 months.
For these loyal fans, opening day on March 29th probably couldn't come sooner. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Nearly 35,000 fans attended the Dodgers Fan Fest at Dodger Stadium. New street improvements are coming to Sylmar, Metro passengers share their train stories, and Chinatown celebrates a new playground at Alpine Rec Center. All these stories in Citybeat. A groundbreaking ceremony was held for a street widening and improvement project on North San Fernando Road between Astoria Street and Sayre Street in Sylmar. The project will widen the roadway from 25 feet to 32 feet and install a new curb, gutter, access ramps, and a sidewalk on the south side of North San Fernando Road to provide a safer corridor. Council District Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez said that her district has long been underserved in terms of the quality of the area's infrastructure. The Department of Public Works Bureau of Street Services will oversee the project.
We're also going to be creating these very important sidewalks and gutter systems that are going to help to create a local community environment that the community of Sylmar is long overdue and will all be proud of upon its conclusion.
Metro partnered with filmmaker Hervé Cohen to present Life Underground, an immersive art media installation and interactive web documentary at Los Angeles Union Station. The Metro Red Line is one of the 13 international subway systems featured in the exhibition. The temporary exhibit featured subway rider stories from across the globe.
Some of them just seem to be like what I'm doing right now, why I'm on this train right now and what's going on. And then some of them are kind of like their whole journey right up to that point. And they're all fascinating.
The Department of Recreation and Parks, along with Councilmember Gil Cedillo and community members, celebrated the grand opening of the Alpine Recreation Center's new playground. The 20-year-old playground was replaced by a newer and safer place to play. In a matter of 3 weeks, the apparatus for ages 5 to 12 was installed, and the sand was replaced with resilient surfacing. Officials say the Chinatown neighborhood will greatly benefit from this new feature, with the park serving nearly 10,000 residents and Casteller Elementary School located across the street. A dangerous intersection in El Sereno is about to become much safer as officials break ground on new street improvements. Rasha Goel has more on how the community came together for one common purpose.
It's all about safety. The Alhambra Avenue Safety Improvements Project will bring improvements along a 1.5-mile stretch on Alhambra Avenue that runs from Valley Boulevard to the Alhambra city limit. According to officials, it's been a dangerous route and the scene of several traffic collisions, including a hit-and-run in 2017, which took the life of a young mother.
Many of these streets are used by people in the San Gabriel Valley and beyond to get to work in downtown and back. And many times people have forgotten that there's neighborhoods here. People live here. Families and children are walking around. And so when we make things safe for everyone in these corridors, it's helping us all.
Planned improvements include a new traffic signal light at Lowell Avenue, a new sidewalk adjacent to the El Sereno Arroyo Playground, and a future art wall welcoming all to the El Sereno community.
We discovered that there were plans to build a connector road bringing an off-ramp from the 710 freeway, so we founded Concerned Neighbors of El Sereno to protect our community. Since then, since Concerned Neighbors was formed, we stopped the connector road that would have brought 55,000 cars per day right here to this spot.
These improvements will make the community much more beautiful and safer for you to walk and enjoy your neighborhood.
The $1.2 million project has been the subject of ongoing discussions as El Sereno residents have long been plagued by cut-through traffic and the threat of the 710 freeway expansion. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Construction is expected to continue through the end of May. Experience Chinese culture at the Golden Dragon Parade. Come see blacksmiths forging hot steel before your very eyes, and an African dance competition heats up on stage. All this in this week's Things to Do. In celebrating over 100 years of tradition, the Chinese Chamber of Commerce of Los Angeles presents the 119th annual Golden Dragon Parade. With over thousands of individuals lining the parade route and thousands viewing the telecast each year, this colorful celebration has become the premier cultural event in the Southern California Asian American community. The parade continues to be a rich and diverse experience for Angelenos of all ages and ethnicities. It takes place along North Broadway in Chinatown on Saturday, February 17th at 1 p.m. For more, visit lagoldendragonparade.com. The first annual Forge Festival calls to you. This family-friendly event will feature all kinds of fun things to do and see, as well as food and beverages. Come see blacksmiths forging hot steel live before your eyes. Witness copper transformed into objects of wonder and beauty. Let the kids forge clay at the Kids Clay Station. And to learn even more, stop by the Ask a Blacksmith station. The festival will have a little something for everyone. It all takes place Sunday, February 18th at the Audubon Center in Debs Park, located at 4700 North Griffin Avenue. African dance has many origins, which sets it apart from most other dance traditions in the world. And African Dance LA, in its second year of production, aims to be the largest African dance competition with a focus on the art of contemporary African dance. This event is in recognition of our youth's efforts to promote and preserve African culture through dance and other art forms. It's sponsored by Councilmember Curran Price Jr. of the 9th District and other community organizations and businesses. The competition takes place Saturday, February 17th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the California African American Museum, located at 600 State Drive. For more, visit caamuseum.org. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityv.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.